Hi, I'm Dr. Mandy Blackwelder from Healing Arts Animal Care in Beaverton, Oregon. We are a veterinary-specific rehabilitation center for the pets of Portland. So today I'm going to talk to you about what rehab is and what pets may or may not need rehab. Many veterinarians did not go to veterinary school that included rehabilitation. And so sometimes it is up to you as a pet owner to be looking for additional options. So this is kind of about how to determine if your pet needs us and how to determine what type of rehabilitation that you might need. So first of all, who needs rehab? Rehabilitation, just like physical therapy in people, is for a variety of reasons. Certainly the first thing we think of is injuries, whether it be a soft tissue injury or a recovery from a surgery. In human medicine, if you had surgery on your knee and the doctor said to you, stay in bed for 6 weeks, only get up to pee and eat, and then go back to bed, you would say, oh my goodness, this doctor is a quack. Because we all know that if you're sitting around for 6 weeks doing nothing, your muscles atrophy, you're much more prone to injury. That is clearly true in our animals as well. And so it's very old school thinking to do a surgery on a pet and then say, oh, keep him crate rested for 6 weeks. There are those situations where we have to be more cautious of movement, but to completely eliminate movement is not healthy for anyone. So post-injury could be that your dog has a limp that hasn't been well defined yet, that your dog has an injury or cat has an injury that is not a surgical injury, but just needs help healing the muscles, tendons, and ligaments. Or it can be an injury to a bone, such as a broken bone or something like a total hip replacement. So that's about 50% of our cases. The other 50% of our cases are the old guys that are arthritic. And we don't think of that so much as in humans, but it is valuable in humans and in dogs. Think of the PBS show Sit and Be Fit with the elderly lady who sits in her chair and does her exercises. That is true for our dogs as well, but dogs tend to have a pattern of how they move, and they don't like to get out of their pattern. So rehabilitation for arthritis is for helping that dog maintain all kinds of angles of movement so they're less likely to injure themselves, as well as keeping their muscles more supple, which is helpful for blood flow, reduces progression of arthritis. So the other kind of 50% is our arthritic guys. For kitties are a little bit more challenging. You see me standing here with the underwater treadmill. Yes, cats can go in the underwater treadmill, not every cat, but the modalities that we can use, therapeutic laser, therapeutic ultrasound, underwater treadmill, teaching exercises. Yes, cats can learn exercises. And massage, manual therapies, all of those things are on the table for all of our critters. At Healing Arts, we are low stress certified, which means that we are going to work within the parameters of what is happy making for your pet. This is not a no pain, no gain situation. It does not mean like, oh, I need to work harder so I get stronger. So we have to make it a positive experience for everyone. Our goal here is always that the animal drags you through the door. Maybe not the cat, but the dogs drag you through the door after they've been here a couple of times. So those are our rehabilitation animals. The other injuries we can talk about are neurologic injuries. Dogs that have had a slipped disc, have had an embolism in their back, or have had surgery on their back. Those guys clearly need intensive physical therapy just like a person would, and we certainly provide that as well. So then the next piece is, how do I choose who is doing rehabilitation on my pet? So there are 2 certifications for rehabilitation currently. There's a couple of others that are up and coming. There is a CCRP, Certified Canine Rehabilitation Practitioner, and there is a CCRT, Certified Canine Rehabilitation Therapist. Even though canine is in the name, both of those programs include cats. People who have attended these courses have done their 100 hours of coursework. They have done multiple case studies that are presented and reviewed, and then they are required to take an exam in order to earn this certification. The certification can be taken by veterinarians, certified veterinary technicians, doctors of physical therapy, and physical therapy assistants. The scope of practice for those once they have their certification is different. And so that needs to be a piece of your choice. So if it is a doctor of physical therapy, or a physical therapy assistant that are certified, you certainly would want them certified. Their scope of practice is simply mechanics, sort of like going to the physical therapist for a human. You are not going to ask them about your behavior. You're not going to ask them about the lump on their cheek. They're not going to talk to you about diet. It is simply physical therapy. Excellent physical therapy, but physical therapy all the same. When you go to a certified veterinary technician, their scope is going to be a little bit more towards veterinary medicine, but they cannot provide you with a diagnosis. So they are working under the license of the doctor that refers to them, and their outcomes are based upon the diagnosis that they were given. When you go to a facility that has a certified veterinarian, then you are kind of getting the full scope. And that for us here at Healing Arts is the biggest deal. We practice the whole patient. And I don't mean that in an airy-fairy holistic way, although a little of that too. I mean that in the way that we are going to look at not only the mechanics that, you're sore in your elbow, therefore you might be a little bit tweaked in your hip because you're out, but also maybe your hind end is weak because you have a metabolic disorder. Maybe you have anxiety because you are painful. All of those pieces that encompass the whole of veterinary medicine. So the choice, you want to be sure that you have someone that is certified, and you want to be sure that you're choosing a person based upon what they are able to offer you, and not expecting them to be outside of their scope of practice. Third is why Healing Arts. So obviously we're very proud of what we do here, and our facility is one of the best here in Portland. We do provide underwater treadmill. We have 2 Class 4 certified therapeutic lasers. We do ultrasound, we do manual therapy, we have massage available, and we have a chiropractor who works through our program. So lots and lots of options, all creating the best holistic picture for your pet. We also contact your veterinarian if there are any concerns. We speak veterinarian to veterinarian about any follow-up blood work, follow-up x-rays, exactly what x-rays we would like to see. And anytime we have a concern, like I think that this patient's pain is beyond what meds are there, and we talk about what we might prescribe or blood work that might be needed before we can prescribe another medication. We also have wonderful relationships with all of our specialists here in town, not just our orthopedists and neurologists, but also dermatologists, ophthalmologists, cardiologists, because again, the approach is for the entire dog. And the entire dog is a functioning machine together. So we need to be sure that all of our specialists understand what we're doing, and that we are working for the good of the dog together. Very frequently I say to my clients, all right, this is for Team Pepper, let's figure it out. That it's not just I'm doing my thing and you're doing your thing. And probably the most proud thing we have is that we are low stress handling, which I mentioned before. We do everything on the terms of the dog or the cat. So we see lots of anxious animals here who we have been told, oh, he always has to have a muzzle, or he really hates the vet, or no one's ever been able to, trim his toenails, things like that. That for here and the way that we handle from the very beginning, those animals are listened to and are comforted from the start. And so it is very rare that we don't have that dog that drags us in the door. It's rare that we have that cat that is, hissy and spitty with us. So that is a huge piece of our core and a huge piece of our pride. So again, I am Dr. Mandy Blackwelder from Healing Arts Animal Care in Beaverton. My phone number is 971-703-3303, and our website is www.healingartsanimalcare.com.